Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 13 horror movies of all time in my opinion. With that being said, this is a favorites list, not a these are the best horror movies of all time. So don't get upset if your favorite horror movie isn't on my list. With that being said, let me know down below what are your favorite horror movies and just horror movies that you can watch over and over again. Because these 13 movies I've seen a lot of times and I'm willing to see them literally every single day of my life because I love them so much. Also, this was actually supposed to be posted on Friday the 13th, which is why there's 13 movies on this list, but it obviously didn't get posted then, so I'm posting it now and I'm really excited to be talking about them. So let's get started. Hey guys, I just wanted to say really quickly that I'm sorry that the lighting changes so much in this video. I was in front of a window and it was really hard because I don't have like any lights or anything, so I'm sorry if that bothers anybody, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna be going from number 13 to number 1, and all of these movies are really good to me, so it was really hard to like differentiate them. And I also didn't put sci-fi horror movies such as Alien. Those movies are one of my favorites too, but I didn't put them here because to me they're more sci-fi than they are horror. But let's get started. So number 13 is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I really like these movies, and especially the first one. I think they were a lot of fun, and I just like them because I like slasher movies a lot, and it's a really fun movie because to me it's not even like horror that I can't sleep at night or something. It's just really fun and it's funny and it has great characters, and the plot of this movie is really fun to me. And if you guys don't know, this movie is about a year after they ran over a person, they got messages saying that I know what you did last summer because they wanted to hide that they did this to somebody, although it was unintentional. And it's really cool because it's like a whodunit type situation, and I really like this movie. So coming in at number 12 is Halloween. It is actually not the original Halloween, don't get mad. It's actually the remake of Halloween. I really like that movie. I think it's a lot of fun. The original movie's fine, but I always used to find that movie a little bit boring, but I really like the remake and it's a lot of fun to me to watch, and I've seen it a couple times now and I really like it. I know it's not perfect, but it's a lot of fun for me to watch and see Michael Myers again, and I think what they did is really interesting, and I'm excited for the rest of the movies that are going to be coming out. So in number 11 is It Chapter 1. I love this movie, and this is another remake that I like a lot because I watched the original It a really long time ago and I was never really much of a fan of it. I don't like clowns, but It is the exception of a clown movie that I will watch because half of it is like a coming of age story, and it's just really fun seeing all of the kids like interact, and I really like the cast and the plot, and it's just awesome. So I really love It Chapter 1. Coming in at number 10, this movie is one of the most underrated horror movies in my opinion, Oculus. I love this movie. It's so fun. I saw it when I was, I think, in middle school. I saw it when I was in middle school, and it's so good. Basically, the plot, if you guys haven't heard of it, without spoiling, there's this mirror that's haunting them, and a lot of bad things happen with that mirror, but it's like such a trippy horror movie, and it's like psychological, paranormal, and those are like my two favorite genres in the horror genre. So it's just so good. Like, you guys have to watch it to understand what I'm saying, but the plot is really good and it has a lot of like twists, and also it's just like, it's one of those movies that frustrates you when you watch it, but like it pays off, if that makes sense. It's really good. I really like this movie. Number 9 is one of the first horror movies that I ever saw, and that is The Ring. I really like this movie because mainly it brings me back. It gives me like flashbacks to when I started watching horror movies, and this was always playing on the TV, and I would always watch this with my mom and my grandma, and this movie is a lot of fun to me, and I feel like it's the reason I like horror movies because I saw it when I was really young and I always was very interested into it, and I just really like this. I used to think this movie was really scary, and although I don't get scared of it anymore, I still think it's pretty freaky, and a girl coming out of a well and out of your TV is still super freaky. One of like the first times I got scared with a horror movie was actually when I saw this movie, and I would think that she was gonna come out of the TV. So I really like this movie, and if you have not seen it, I definitely recommend you watching it. Also, with all of these movies, I recommend you guys watching them. Number 8 is actually, I debated putting this on the list because to me this movie is a little bit more of a thriller than it is straight up horror, but I still put it, and that is The Silence of the Lambs. This movie is just smart. Like, I really like this movie, and I actually want to make a video where I'm analyzing it because there's a lot of things that I think this movie does that are super cool, and it's like I feel like every single time I watch it I find more interesting things about it, and I really like the plot. really like this movie, and the acting is really, really good too. And just the entire storyline is really good. And one of my favorite scenes is towards the end, and I was about to say it, but I told myself I was not going to spoil, because all of these movies I want you guys to watch. But if you guys want, I am actually gonna make a Silence of the Lambs movie review. I'll talk more about what I mean, but this is just such a good movie. And guys, I want to actually tell you, did you know that there's a Mandela effect with this movie? Apparently he never says hello Clarice. I think that's what it is. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, so if the Mandela effect is that if you've seen The Silence of the Lambs, you know the most famous line is hello Clarice. The only problem is this never happened, and all he says is good morning when he meets her. And I'm telling you, I've seen this movie like more than 10 times, and I've never like even realized that he doesn't say hello Clarice.
Wait, I've like heard hello Clarice. It's not, it never says it?
No, they don't.
What do they say then?
Just good morning. He just says good morning. Like, he never acknowledges her as hello Clarice. Number 7 is Insidious. I really like this movie, especially the first and the second one. And I also like the third one, but I'm like really talking about the original one. This movie's fun. It's a James Wan movie. He's one of my favorite horror directors, and he understands horror in another way. And also, Insidious is really scary to me. It's like scary and ugly, and there's that Darth Maul demon, and yeah. But I love this movie, and I like the way it does jump scares, because there are jump scares, but they aren't fake jump scares, which is something that horror movies need to understand. I love this movie. It's really good. The acting is great. I love everything about this movie, and it's a lot of fun. Number 6 is actually a movie that I was disappointed in one aspect, but I'll tell you why. The Exorcist. I really like this movie. I think this movie's a great horror movie, and the plot is just great. Like, and I think it's more than a horror movie. It's a movie about character development in a lot of other ways. And I think I love when horror movies just don't act like they want to scare you. They actually develop a story and characters, and I think this movie definitely does that. But I was disappointed because when I saw this movie, everybody around me told me it was the scariest thing ever. And I still hear a lot of people say that it's really scary, but to me, I've never found this movie scary. Maybe it's because I've seen so many other horror movies that have like worse things, I guess. I don't know, but I've never found it scary, and it's not really a problem to me. I was just like, hey dude, why is this not scary? I really like this movie, and it's a lot of fun. I wish I would have seen this movie when it came out in theaters. And they were gonna play this movie at AMC for like some, I think they were doing some horror event, but the virus shut down AMC, so now that's not gonna happen, which is really, really sad. But I really like this movie. It's a lot of fun. I say this for every movie, it's a lot of fun, but I just think horror movies are so fun to watch and like interesting, that they can scare you, like freak you out, they can make you feel things, and it's just a movie. So I really like this movie, and I honestly think it's one of the best horror movies ever made, because even though it's not scary, like, I mean, to me it's not scary that I won't sleep at night, it still freaks you out, and it makes you like disgusted. And I think for being made in the 70s, it's so good. So I applaud them for that. I'm getting to my top 5 favorite horror movies. So remember, down below, let me know what are your favorite horror movies, and if you agree or disagree with any of my top 13 movies. But my number 5 is A Nightmare on Elm Street, directed by Wes Craven. And I said Wes Craven because I love him so much. And he's such a good director, and I wish I would have been able to meet him. But this movie is so creative, and I think it's one of the most creative horror movies ever freaking made. Like, it's so good. I love it because you wouldn't even think about that. Because in horror movies and just in life in general, when you're scared, you go to sleep to try to like get away from everything. But these characters can't go to sleep because it happens when you sleep. And the way that he was trying to make it that as the movie goes on, Freddy is trying to get out of the dreams too is just brilliant. It makes it so that like there's really no way you can escape this, and even makes it scarier and makes the plot better. So it's awesome. It's so awesome. And the effects are awesome here. It's just a great movie. It's a really good movie. My 4th favorite horror movie is The Sixth Sense. This movie is so good, and it's mainly due to the big plot twist that I'm not going to reveal at the very end of the movie that just shocks me. Everybody told me, oh yeah, this movie has a good plot twist. And I was like, oh, I'm probably going to guess it. And the entire movie I was trying to guess it, and I never did, and I was literally shook. It's a great movie. It's a great thriller. This movie isn't really scary. It's just like it's like a suspenseful thriller, and I think it's still on Netflix, and it's a really great movie to watch. And even if you don't like horror movies, I think this movie's really, really good still, because it's like, my sister can even say that she doesn't watch horror movies and she liked this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes this movie and she hates horror and she gets scared. So this movie's fine, and it's really good, and I think the way this movie was done and crafted was awesome, and every single time you watch it again, you pick up on certain things, and it's a really fun movie to rewatch. My third favorite horror movie is The Conjuring, another James Wan movie. I love this movie. I really like this movie. This was also one of the first horror movies I saw where I was really scared when I was little. Like, a lot. This movie terrified me, and the second one too. I really like these movies. I really like paranormal type of horror, and especially when it's based on true events, because I read about this stuff all the time, and I think they're a lot of fun, and I'm just excited for the entire Conjuring series. The second one is great, and I'm excited for the third one. These movies are a lot of fun, and James Wan also understands how to craft a horror movie in a way that it's not just all fake jump scares. There's actual real jump scares going on that actually advance the plot, and although it's scary and it freaks you out, the plot is amazing in this movie, and you get to really feel for the characters, and you get attached to them, which is something that doesn't happen in a lot of horror movies, and I really like that this movie did that. My second favorite horror movie of all time is Scream, and this is almost my number one, and it sometimes is my number one, it changes, but I really like this movie. I love the entire 4 movies, and apparently they're making a Scream 5, and I'm excited for that, but I'll see how that is since Wes Craven isn't really directing it or isn't around to maneuver it, but I'm sure it's gonna still be a lot of fun. I love these movies because they're scary. It's like, they're funny, and I like that the movie is set up to make fun of horror movies. Like, one of the characters, Randy, the entire time he's like, oh, to survive, you can't do this, you can't drink, you can't say, I'm gonna be right back, because you won't be right back. And it's fun and it's clever that it does that, because it makes the movie more interesting, and it makes the characters aware that what they're going through is kind of like a horror movie, making it ironic that it is one. And it's also a lot of fun because it's a slasher movie where you have to try to guess who the killer is at the end. It's not like Halloween where it's like, you know, it's Michael Myers the whole time. So it's really a lot of fun that you try to guess it with these movies, and I just love this movie. It's so fun, and I think some of them are on Netflix if you guys want to check them out. And my number one favorite horror movie of all time is The Shining. I really like The Shining. It's a thriller, it's like psychological, and it's just smart. Like, this movie's so good. There's not enough words that I can say how much I really like this movie. It's just so smart. I don't even, like, I'm sure you guys have heard about this movie a lot. It's a lot of people really like this movie, and it's just such a good horror movie to me because it's scary in the weirdest ways, because I don't even think it has like straight up jump scares. It's like really eerie, and it gets under your skin, and you also feel for the characters, and it's a movie where the whole time you're like, what the heck is going on, because you don't really know what's going on, and then it's just great. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words how good this movie is to me, and I love it. This movie is just like, it's done so well. Like, Stanley Kubrick knew what he was doing with this movie, and I still haven't read the Shining book. I understand that it's completely different, but the movie itself is great, and the cinematography is awesome, and it's so good, and I really like this movie. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and this gave you some horror movies to watch during like the quarantine time, or just in general. Let me know down below again what are your favorite horror movies, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and let me know if you guys want me to talk more in depth about any of these movies. I didn't really want to go too much in depth with them because this video is probably longer than it should have been, and also I didn't want to spoil it for anybody. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!